In this video, I'm going to show you how to get booked on 6 podcasts that are in the top 5 to 10% in the next 30 days using my signature booking strategy. And you'll be able to accomplish this without sending hundreds and hundreds of cold pitches only to get rejected. By the end of this video, you'll learn how to get on tons of podcasts so that you can start borrowing other people's audiences and attracting more inbound leads and people who are actually excited to buy from you. This video is for the entrepreneurs who want to take action and get their brand to really blow up and get their message in front of lots of ideal candidates. So if that sounds like you, then keep watching because now we're going to jump into the screen share portion. How to get booked on 6 top podcasts in 30 days and blow up your brand. Here is a quick result from one of my clients who, when she started working with us, had never been on podcasts before, but knew it was a very effective strategy that she wanted to start implementing in her business. And we got her booked on 12 interviews in less than 60 days. And here are some other results that we have gotten for people who have never been on podcasts before. We've gotten them on top 5% podcasts, thousands and thousands of views, thousands of followers, high ticket clients, all of that, you name it. It is endless possibilities when you are going on these established podcasts and leveraging other people's audiences. And a little bit about me. My name is Chris Bryant. I am the founder of a company called Crush It with Chris. I am a social media strategist and as well as a podcast guesting expert where I help people combine social media and public relations to really get the word out there about their business and provide that massive visibility to people. My work has been seen in the US Sun, Forbes, Yahoo News, but overall, I'm super passionate about helping people become more visible online and attract more opportunities and more clients for their business. So you might have entertained podcasts before, but maybe you're wondering why you should be leveraging top podcasts. Well, and notice that I'm saying top podcasts and not just any other podcasts, like top podcasts that get thousands of listens, tons of attention when you go and speak on these podcasts because of the size of the audiences that they have. For one, the opportunity for lead generation, right? Podcast listeners are incredible quality leads because they've actually taken the time to listen to you. They really buy into your story. And if you come across really, really relatable and you show how you help people solve their problems, you are going to get some great quality leads who really want to hop on a call with you or who really want to buy your products. And also, there's lots of credibility that comes with going on podcasts. You are seen as the best. You are getting that warm introduction from, some of these people's favorite podcast hosts. So, it comes with a lot of weight when you can go on these podcasts and really showcase what you can do. And it also provides incredible networking opportunities. You get to network with these podcast hosts, and, a lot of them can become lifelong friends if you continue to build a relationship with them over time and not just have it be so transactional when you go on their podcast and then you don't speak to them again. But if you network, it is incredible and it's a great way to really tap into that network in the future. And then, of course, exposure, right? How many of you are so tired of making these great videos, working so hard and pumping out content, and then you can't even get more than 100 views or 200 views on your content? I am definitely a social media person, right? It's one of the ways that I help people, but it can be very, very frustrating when you have limited reach, when you are relying on organic traffic. And that's why the exposure that you can get if you are going on these podcasts that are in the top 5 to 10%, you get lots of exposure for yourself. So here's a quick overview of the training. We're going to talk about mindset and why that's so, so important, and then how to get booked and busy and how to be able to do that whenever you feel like it, whenever you have something coming on or approaching that you need to really promote and get lots of attention for. And then we're going to talk about how to monetize. And then lastly, we're going to talk about continued growth once you start implementing these strategies that we're going to discuss in this video. So the first thing, of course, is mindset. And mindset is so, so important because I find that when I have conversations with some entrepreneurs, they are either looking for the perfect time to start going on podcasts. They need to, finish up a few things. They need to make their website more optimized. They need to take some really nice pictures, and all of that stuff doesn't matter. And sometimes people just feel as though they don't deserve to be more visible. Who am I to go on a top podcast and tell my story? Or maybe I haven't been in business for X amount of years to even deserve going on some of these podcasts. And we need to change that mindset. You need to understand that you are worthy and that you deserve to be visible and that you have a message that can really help people shift the needle in their lives or in their business. So you should really be going on podcasts, and you don't need millions of followers. You don't need a fancy website. You don't need to even be on a podcast before in order to start getting people to say yes to you. And if you apply the strategies that I teach my clients, you'll have no problems getting on 6 to 8 podcasts a month or whenever it is that you feel like it to attract more high ticket clients, to also be seen as the best and really use that as leverage to get other opportunities for yourself. And step number 2 is getting booked, right? So once you've conquered the mindset, which is really, really important, that really is the first step, you want to start getting booked. And in order to get booked on podcasts, you have to figure out what your goal is. What is the goal that you have on the top of your mind? Are you looking for more followers? Are you looking for more sales? Are you looking for brand awareness? Are you looking to get experience with speaking? All of these things you need to think about, because that's how you discover what it is that you should be talking about. And you also need to tie in, okay, what is my offer? You need to tie that into what you're speaking about, because you need to have calls to actions in your interview where you're telling people, to how to buy from you or how to book a call and so on. But once you figure out what your goal is, what you're going to be talking about, you want to also make sure that it is a topic of interest and where your audience hangs out, right? So what podcasts are they listening to? And then you really just reach out to these podcast hosts online. And not all pitches are created equal. You need to make sure that you are standing out when you're reaching out to a complete stranger. And some of you might say that's not my style for me to like proactively reach out to people and ask for opportunities. Well, you are going to get left behind if you keep that mindset. You need to go after the opportunities that you want for yourself and not wait for them, right? Find people online and reach out to them. And then lastly, when you are reaching out, remember that it's not all about you. You need to provide value in some way to these podcast hosts so it doesn't seem one-sided and like you're just using them for an opportunity for yourself. So you got to think about what type of value it is that you can provide to these podcast hosts, whether it be the value that you can provide to their audience and what you can actually teach in an episode, or maybe spreading the word about the podcast using your social media following or your network to help get more visibility for that podcast host, or maybe even giving a review. There are a lot of ways that you can provide value to these podcast hosts. So just remember that it's not all about you. You have to think about what it is that you can offer to make it more enticing for people to say, you know what, let me give this person a shot and have them come on and speak to my audience. And then once you are nailing the pitches and you're having these conversations and these interviews happening, and you get in a rhythm of, okay, I can get on podcasts whenever I want. I have the secret sauce for getting those guesses. You want to start monetizing these opportunities that you're getting online. And the real key to monetizing is, one, telling your unique story. And the reason why you want to do this when you go on podcasts is because that is what will make you the most memorable. And when you are just being vulnerable, talking about your real life experiences, it also builds trust, which leads to more customers, because people need to trust you in order to buy from you. And of course, when you're on these interviews, make sure that you are dropping gems, but also giving calls to actions throughout the interview so that the listeners know exactly what it is that you want them to do and how they can work with you or buy from you. And next, we talked about this a little bit, is building relationships with the hosts even after your interview is complete, really staying in touch with them, supporting them online. And this is great because if you have other things coming up in the future, maybe you're launching a new book or anything along those lines, you'll have open invitations to then go back on these podcasts and speak to those audiences again and get more exposure for yourself. So you can see how building these relationships is really, really key when it comes to the monetization aspect. And lastly, when you do have the interviews, just make sure that you are promoting the heck out of them on your platforms. And if you do this consistently, you will enjoy new leads coming in for years to come because your interview actually is housed on the podcast platform. And every time new people go and listen to these episodes that have been, shot months ago, a few weeks ago, it's more and more awareness that you're getting for your brand and for your business. And you can even attract other speaking opportunities when you go on these podcasts, because when you are actively posting the heck out of it online, people will start lurking around and seeing that, oh, there are other podcast hosts or other places that are interested in you and what you have to say. And it's kind of like, monkey see, monkey do, where other people are going to start reaching out to you as well and inviting you to come and speak to their audience or on their platforms. And then step number 4 is continued growth. I know I talked a lot about podcasts, which podcasts are game changing and just an amazing way to build your brand and to get more money into your piggy bank. But don't give up on social media completely. There are processes that you can actually automate on social media for additional growth. There's ways to automate your Instagram, ways to automate your LinkedIn and get in front of more people. So I like to teach the approach of combining the PR strategies, which is going on the podcast and these media publications, with social media so that you have additional streams of getting in front of people and booking calls. Like the strategies that I teach, book an additional 1 to 4 or 1 to 3 calls, sales calls per day with people who really want to learn about your services and how you can help them. So just combining social media with the PR is game changing. Building a personal brand, building a life-changing personal brand will really shift the needle for you and help you uncover new opportunities to make money and just to really grow your revenue year over year. So combine social media with PR, hop on calls with people who already know who you are because you're leveraging other people's audiences in automating your social media. So a quick recap. We talked about the mindset and that you deserve to be seen and that there's never going to be a perfect time. In fact, the perfect time is right now. Like, let's start reaching out to these places, these podcasts that have your ideal audience and start getting yourself booked. And when you are in the process of getting booked, make sure that you're standing out, you're leading with value so that there's the reciprocity and it doesn't feel like a one-sided relationship. And you're monetizing by promoting the heck out of these episodes. The podcast host is already going to have their audience that's going to be listening. And then you leverage these opportunities to get even more opportunities. And then you are really tapping into social media and these podcasts, combining social media and PR so that you have that continued growth and predictability in your business and you're growing your brand. This is how I was able to really, really skyrocket my brand to over 100,000 people online, combining the social media and the PR, getting on these podcasts. So you have 2 options, right? You can go it alone, and that route usually comes with a lot of headache and struggles, really no clear path or blueprint on how to get any of this done, less visibility in the meantime because you are unsure of what step to take first and you're going to make mistakes along the way. And that can often cause you to lose motivation in your drive to keep going, which is never a fun way to feel. And then, of course, with all of that, you're losing money because you're not getting the opportunities that you deserve and are entitled to. So then that leads me to the second option, which is working together with me and learning the methods that work for myself and all of my clients to get booked on top podcasts without having to pitch to hundreds and hundreds of people just to get a yes. If you want to make more money online because you are more visible, then we should definitely have a conversation. If you want to combine PR and social media strategies for accelerated growth for your business and for your brand, then we should definitely have a conversation. And working together also comes with the guidance and accountability that you need, that is important to have when you're learning something new. You don't have to go it alone. You can actually learn from someone who has been where you're at and get the results a lot faster. If you're ready to get on dozens of podcasts, top podcasts, if you're ready to amass thousands of followers online and get actual recognition for all the amazing things that you are doing, and have processes in place so that you can go from unseen to unforgettable, to really start having more predictability and attract the kind of clients that you want for yourself, that you envision when you first started your business, then click the link below in the description box and book a free strategy session so that we can start putting together an action plan for you and just get to work on getting you booked and busy.